Hello Year 6 and welcome to Monday's literacy lesson. Happy Monday. I hope you've had a lovely weekend resting before another week of home learning. Now Friday's work, you blew me away. Your descriptions were amazing. I absolutely loved reading each and every one of them. They were amazing, the ones that were sent in on email from home and the ones I was lucky enough to read in school as well. You were brilliant. I was so impressed. You included lots of things from the toolkits and you haven't really forgotten much of our writing, which really impressed me. So a huge well done. One happy teacher over here. Fantastic. So today is Monday, so it's spelling day. So we are going to go through the spellings now, but also they are on Edshed and Letterjoin. But your challenge for today, there's a little challenge on Edshed for you to go on. So have a go at your spellings on there. You will notice that these spellings seem a little bit easy for you, but they are either homophones or near homophones. So remember, homophones sound the same, but they're spelt differently and they've got a different meaning, or they're very close to a homophone. So it's really important that you know the meaning. So while you're learning them this week, make sure you've got the meanings in your head, and you might on Friday make sure that you get somebody to test you putting them in a sentence so you know you are using the right one. So we've got accept and accept. So they're near homophones. So they sound very similar, but they're slightly different. So you've got accept, like accepting an invitation, so agreeing to something. And you've got accept, so that's like where you leave one out or a group out. So I like all the flavours of crisps except prawn cocktail. So affect and effect then. So affect is usually used as the verb. So it might be something like gravity affects how we stand on the earth. Effect then is the noun. So it normally comes after the, a or an. So it might be something like the effect of the tornado was felt all around the area. So it's an article before the word effect because that effect is the noun. Then you've got break and break. So break spelt B-R-E-A-K is where you break something or you go out for break. And brake, B-R-A-K-E, is in a car, so putting your foot on the brake. Then you've got medal, A-L, which is what you would win in a race. And then you've got medal, which ends L-E, so that's where you mess with something, interfere with something, so medal. Then you've got rein, R-E-I-N, so that's like on a horse, so the reins that you put on a horse, or maybe reins on a child. And then you've got reign with a G in it. So that's what the Queen's reign. That's her leadership of the country. So they are your spellings for this week. Like I said, I've set you up a challenge for today. So make sure at some point today you go on Edshed and complete the challenge. So today's learning then. So you will have had some new books delivered to you. And we're going to actually do some work out of this book today. So we're going to be doing a mixture of writing and reading from now on, which is really nice. So on a Monday, Wednesday and a Friday, we're going to work out of this Year 6 writing book. And on a Tuesday and a Thursday, we're going to work out of your new Year 6 comprehension book. So make sure you've got the right book. It's this lovely new one. So today, the first we're going to look at planning today. So it's the writing book and it's pages 3 to 5. So we're going to be looking at planning a text and how we plan something. So the first couple of sections, so on pages 3 and 4, I'm going to ask you just to complete on your own. They are talking about audience, so that's who is looking at what you're writing, who it's for, and then the purpose, so why you're writing it. So those first couple of pages, so it's task 1, 2 and 3, you have just got to do some little activities on audience and purpose. Task 3 is about the order that things appear in a text. So you'll read the instructions. It only asks you to put the paragraphs in order, and you've only got to put the title of each paragraph. So I'm going to ask you to complete those ones on your own. And you don't need me to do those. That's just to warm your brain up and to remind you about why we write texts, who we write them for, and how we put them together. So you'll be fine doing that without me. The bit I want to look at together is section 4, and it's about making a plan for a piece of writing that you are going to do. I'm going to do one that's similar to what you've got in your book, and then you're going to have a go yourself. So I want to talk about how stories are put together. So often we think about them on a mountain. So we have an opening. So normally in the opening, you've got your description of a setting or introducing your characters, setting the scene. So that's your opening. Then you have a build up. So you're building up. So your character might be going on a journey. They might be looking for something. There might be something strange that happens that they've got to go and investigate, depending on the type of story you are writing. Then you have your major part, your climax, a dilemma, a problem, something like that needs solving, or a main action, something happens. Then it gets resolved. So whatever the problem was, it gets resolved and sorted out. A character finds a way through the difficulties that they are having. And then an ending. And it says here, which I really like, says happily ever after, but a question mark. Your stories don't have to finish with happily ever after. They can finish on a cliffhanger, it can be a sad ending, it can be a bad ending. It's up to you as a writer to make those decisions. So we're going to think about this today when we're planning a story. So we're going to think about planning a story, but also about making notes. So on your plan, there's no point writing absolutely everything, because that's too much detail. You may as well write the story. A plan is just some little notes, so when you come to write your story, you've got something to remind you, oh, that was my idea, that was what I was going to include. So I'll just show you what you've got today. So you've got this picture here. Okay, so it's got a shed, and then it says there's a strange noise coming. So it's got what is making the noise, what happens, and what problem must be solved. Okay, so we'll come back to that in a moment. So I'm going to do an example to help you about note taking and planning. So I've got a different picture to you. So I've got this one here. So this one is a waterfall with the sun coming in, but I've got a character, Omar, and he's in a jungle. So the beginning's filled in for me, and it is filled in for you in your book as well. So I've got Omar is in the jungle. So in that paragraph, I'd be talking about who Omar is, and I'd be describing this jungle setting. So I don't need to write the jungle setting because that will remind me. So then I've got my build up, my climax, my resolution. So here, it's giving me some bubbles like you've got. So I've got something being taken, there's a queen, and then what happens at the end. So I need to write some notes of my ideas. So in my build up then, I'm going to have Omar is going to travel through the jungle. So it's just notes. So I've got Omar travel through the jungle. And I've got to think about what item he's going to take from the waterfall. So I'm going to have him take a key out of a box. Because I think the key introduces some mystery. What's the key for? Okay, so I know that a queen is going to either be happy or unhappy about this key being taken out of the box. Now I'm going to have this queen being unhappy. So I'm going to have my climax that he has a duel or a battle. And I'm going to make my character of the queen evil. So I'm going to have a battle with the evil queen. Or the key to her kingdom. Oops. So he's going to have, so he's taken the, I'm going to have that he's taken the key to overthrow this evil queen. So I'm just going to add that here. So overthrow the queen. Okay, so that's my build up. He's traveling through the jungle to retrieve this key from the waterfall, and it's the key to the kingdom and overthrowing the queen. So then he's going to have a duel with the queen for the key. to her kingdom. So they're going to have this duel, this battle. And then my resolution is that Omar wins the battle and banishes the queen. Then I'm going to put she is gone forever. But I don't want to end mine happily. Oops. I'm going to leave it on a quick cliffhanger. Or is she? Oops. Okay, so I'm leaving mine on that cliffhanger of he's banished the queen forever, but then and she's gone forever, but I've put or is she? Because I don't want to end mine all sorted out and resolved. So I've just got little notes for each part of this story mountain here. Okay, so what I want you to do now is I want you to go to your book. I'm going to put the story mountain back up. Now, what I would do is in the book, do a little bit like I did. I'd write down, build up, climax, and resolution because you've got the beginning and the end. So build up, climax, resolution. Now, this one ends when Leanne goes back to her house for tea. Maybe you could add something to that if you want to make yours a little bit more interesting and maybe end on some sort of cliffhanger. So I want you to fill in the build up, climax, and resolution here. Now, that is all I'm going to ask you to do for today, unless you want to complete the challenge, which is section 5. So section 4 was planning a fiction text. Section 5 is having a go at planning a non-fiction text. So if you want to have a little challenge and have a go at this, so it's the newspaper report about the theft of a valuable dog, and it asks you to include what you would say in paragraph 1, 2, and 3 for a newspaper report. You don't have to do that. That's a challenge if you would like to. So I hope you enjoy doing something that's a little bit more writing based. We'll come back to our writing on Wednesday. It's comprehension tomorrow. Looking forward to see what you come up with your stories. I know when I see your plans that I'll want you to write them because I know they'll be absolutely brilliant and really exciting. So enjoy today and I shall see you tomorrow.